So the reason I left WWE is that I'd been pretty disappointed for a little while. There have been a number of disappointments in my career. Obviously, the Nexus thing, the way that went at SummerSlam, that was an initial disappointment. And then I think the Money in the Bank briefcase situation where I could have won that was a disappointment. And then I became incredibly frustrated when I got something like Bad News Barrett and it was over and people were wanting to see it. And I went to Vince one day and said, hey, look, they're cheering me. We need to turn me babyface. They want to see me as a babyface. And Vince decided, no, I don't want you to ever be a babyface. You're always going to be a heel with me. So the way we're going to counter that, the fact that people are cheering you, is we're going to take away the things that they're cheering. So you're going to be Bad News Barrett, but you're not going to give bad news anymore. And that's going to frustrate them, and they're all going to start booing you. I really didn't like that idea. I pleaded my case, but Vince was adamant. And okay, he's the boss. It's his company. And of course, Bad News Barrett, who doesn't give out bad news and doesn't speak on the mic, is pretty much worthless. He's just a warm body who goes to the ring, gets beat up, comes to the back. And within 3 or 4 months of that decision of me not getting the mic anymore, suddenly people didn't care. And this guy who had been over to a significant degree was pretty much worthless on the show. So again, incredibly frustrated by that. And then we got to the point where it's King of the Ring. So on the face of it, getting an accolade like that is pretty big. There's been some major people in the history of WWE who've won King of the Ring, but it really wasn't like that when I was in the situation. So I won King of the Ring. We had this tournament, which is a special for the WWE Network, and it was angled as a way of getting more signups for the WWE Network that they were pushing at the time. And when I won King of the Ring, 20 minutes before the show started, which had the final, myself against Neville, they hadn't even decided who the winner was going to be. And we'd been asking all day, how do you want us to end this match? We got to figure something out here. And eventually they came to me 20 minutes beforehand. Okay, Vince has now decided they want Wade to go over. So I ended up going over, but it really is indicative of the lack of thought that went into it. The fact that 20 minutes before the show, I didn't even know who was winning, and they didn't know who was winning. And then subsequently, the booking of the character, it became apparent that there was no real plans. Within 2 weeks, I was losing to every babyface on the roster and going nowhere. So it wasn't a fun time for me. And around about that time, kind of towards the end of King Barrett's run, prior to the League of Nations, I made a decision in my head that I wasn't going to resign. I said, my contract is up in April or May. I've been here a long time. I need to go away at least for a while and do something else and kind of recharge the batteries and kind of get my motivation back up. So I made that decision. About a month after that, WWE came to me. They offered me a new contract with double the money I was on before for my downside. But I explained to them that I wasn't happy. I didn't like the way things had gone and my career had been handled at that point. And I was going to go away, which I think surprised them because they don't normally get that kind of response when they're offering someone a new contract with more money. But I told them, here's my situation. I don't want to be here right now. So I think they thought I would get cold feet over the next few months as my contract was coming closer and closer to being over, because obviously I dedicated a lot of my life to get to WWE, and once I was there, it takes over 95% of your life. So I personally invested a lot in this career. So then anyway, this is going on. They catch up with me a couple of times. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I'm leaving. I'm still going to leave. I'll see out my contract. I'll do whatever you need me to do. They then put us in League of Nations, and there was a little bit of me when they got the League of Nations together. I thought, wow, this could be big. This could be, it's me, it's Sheamus, it's Rusev, it's Del Rio. We've got some real credibility here. All the guys can work. We can cut promos. This could be a real powerful faction. But again, within 2 or 3 weeks, it became apparent that we were simply warm bodies to feed to Roman. And no disrespect to Roman. I'm a huge Roman fan. I know he gets a lot of stick online and he gets booed, but he's a great guy, and as a choice to be the face of the company, he ticks all the boxes. But with that being said, I was at a point in my career where I had no interest in playing that role on WWE and being the warm body to just get beaten up. And that's, again, I was getting put into that category, and I'd had enough of it. So closer and closer I got to the contract ending, the more and more sure I was that I was going to leave. And then it came to a head. WrestleMania, we had our match. The next day I got thrown out of the League of Nations, and then I was done. And I waved my goodbyes. And I would certainly say that I wouldn't never go back. It's not on my list of things to do right now, and it's not that goal that I once had. But I feel in certain respects I have some unfinished business there. But I also would never be interested in going back and being in that role where I was used as a kind of warm body. It's their loss, not mine. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. But, I don't want it to be interpreted that I'm somehow bitter with them. I'm certainly not. I get why they make their decisions. At the end of the day, we all look at pro wrestling as being art, and even myself as a wrestler, it's art for us. I know we often call it a sport. It's not a sport, it's an art. It's a storyline, it's performances in the ring, and it's characters. It's an art. So they're running it as a business, not an art. They're doing what they do because they think what they do is going to make them more money than other ways. And I respect that. It's not my company, and they make their decisions. And I've never taken any decision they make personally. I've always felt that the decisions they make are to better their business the way they see it. It doesn't matter if I agree with the decisions or not. They're doing it for business reasons. So I'm certainly not bitter, and I would never rule out going back. Yeah, I've never, since I've left there, never questioned my decision to leave, never doubted myself, and it was the right move for me at the right time, so no regrets at all for leaving. So I didn't say anything. I just looked at Bray Wyatt, and he kind of shrugged his shoulders. We all knew something bad was about to happen, and we were just waiting. We were frozen in time, and suddenly all you hear is, "Are you trying to see my